Please join me as I talk about why I am so over this being referred to as the African Animal Farm. Hi, my name is Sarah Freshly and welcome back to Freshly Read Books. As a reminder, this week I am doing a new review every day about one of the Booker shortlisted books. I've been through nearly all of them at this point, but as a reminder for the schedule for this week, day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4, day 5, day 6, and day 7 is rankings and winner predictions. So be sure to check out those other reviews and subscribe for the 2 videos after this one, and also future videos. That's fun too. Anyways, today we are talking about Glory by No Violet Bulawayo. Okay, I get why the comparison's made. This is a largely political book. It is about politics in the fictional country of Jidada, which is largely based off of Zimbabwe, but could represent very many different countries. And also, all of the characters are farm animals. There's our comparison, because I don't know if you know, but George Orwell's Animal Farm is also a bunch of farm animals and politics. Although not all of the characters in that book are animals. And I think that that is an important distinction, because in Animal Farm, it is largely shown as the animals themselves being like these second-class citizens to humans. There is a farmer that runs the farm. Whereas in this book, all animals should be equal. They're not, but they should be, just as humans all should be equal. We're not like starting off from this like humans versus animals perspective. It's all animals. Also, I don't know if you noticed, but this book is a little bit longer than Animal Farm. I would say maybe about like 4 times as long. How long is Animal Farm? Like 100 pages? So we obviously know that there is going to be some different things in this book, just purely based off the length. It like has to. And I won't say that this book is doing more, because Animal Farm is a classic and I do think that it deserves that spot that it has, but I will say that it's doing some different things. And to say that it is just Animal Farm in Africa is really doing a disservice to this book. The author does talk about her influences, and she does agree that this does have some influence from George Orwell's Animal Farm, and that's totally fine. I think it's fine to say that this book is influenced. I think we can all see that, but it also has a lot of other influences from other works and other authors, specifically in African folklore. But a lot of the readers aren't necessarily going to get that, especially if they're in the US or in Western Europe. When asked specifically why she chose animals instead of choosing to tell this story in another way, she said that she just wanted it to be more removed from reality and to be able to make it more her own and make it more clear that she was doing a fresh take on this political story, which I do think is a good reason for doing something like this. For me personally, however, it was my least favorite part of the book. I really, really liked this book, but it did kill me a little bit that all of the characters were animals, and I didn't see enough purpose in it from a reader standpoint for it to be told that way. Like, it was just really upsetting when you would be reading a scene that is this great conversation between certain people, and then one of them has a sip of tea, and the book says that they picked it up with their hooves, and then all of a sudden I'm just thinking of how one picks up a cup of tea with hooves, and I'm like totally taken out of the story. So that was really frustrating. That being said, there is part of me that's thinking, well, would this book have gotten the attention that it did if the characters weren't all animals? And I don't think that it would. Like, there is something that I'm sure is appealing to some people, thinking of this as being a Animal Farm type story. Maybe they really love Animal Farm and therefore they want to pick up this book. But I think also by going into this book thinking that that's what it is, it's going to be weird to read, because I don't think it's going to be a disappointment to read, but I do think that it sets up wrong expectations for this book. I don't think I've really talked about the synopsis. Was this even broken into themes today? No. But I will say that throughout the entire book, we get a lot of different perspectives. We get to see different people come to power, and also, not people, but animals come to power. And then we get stories of the past when other animals were in power. And we see this kind of cyclical trap that everybody is stuck in, where it keeps seeming like, oh, maybe we're getting to a better place, but then it just rolls back and it's not any better than it was before. And this gaining of hope and then the loss of that hope. It's really kind of devastating to read it. It's quite heartbreaking. I also think that this book does a great job with repetition. Sometimes it felt a bit much, but typically I think that that was the purpose or the point of those sections, was to feel a bit much. So there are these areas where something is repeated over and over and over and over and over again, like really short things for like an entire page or something. But there's also several sayings that come back up over and over again throughout the book, which I think contributes to the cyclical feel of the history of that country. So for example, most times that G-dada is said, it's G-dada with a da and another da. And hearing the different characters use that in different ways is very interesting. And then there's another one that I really love. There is never a night so long that it doesn't end with dawn. That one's said over and over. There's a bunch that contribute to the story. And I think that there's not many times where I feel like repetition really adds to a story for me personally. Like it's a theme that while I do respect it, it's not something that I typically feel like adds to my enjoyment of the book or to my insights in the book. But this one really felt like it did a good job with that. Like it felt purposeful and I really appreciated it. And it made me feel as if I understood a lot more of this like world that we were living in, even though it's so far removed. I'm so far removed from it and the history of it and what it's based off of, the folklore that it's based off of. So that was really, really cool. Also, I don't know why, but I feel like I should show off that I have both covers right now. This one's from the library and then this one just got to me from Booker. So it felt wrong not to say because this has just been sitting right in front of me. So with all that being said, do the Booker Frog and I recommend it? That's a yes. It's a big rivet for this book. I really enjoyed this one a lot more than I was expecting. I didn't love the idea of all the characters being animals. Turns out I still don't, and I still really like this book. So I think that says something. I would highly recommend reading it if you haven't already. Anyways, thank you so much for watching this video. Only one review left to go for the Booker shortlist, so be sure to join me again tomorrow, and I will see you then. Bye. Oh, and let me know what you thought of this book and if you think it'll win. Okay, thanks, bye.